Oh, hi, how can I help you?
Hi there, I'm new to metal detecting and I'd like to buy my first detector today. What do you have in the $300 range?
You like it to be waterproof, with an adjustable stem and lightweight too?
Absolutely, and I also need great depth as well. I'd like wireless audio, USB rechargeable, and it would be great if it had software updates.
I've been detecting for 30 years, and there's no way you can get all of that for that price.
And that is where this gentleman is wrong, because there is one option. Only one though. The Nocta Macro Simplex.
And the Simplex becomes the best-selling product worldwide, setting a new bar in terms of price-performance ratio. Simplex has advanced in many ways: hardware, software, design, and ergonomics. Yet one thing has stayed the same: worldwide proven performance and success, backed up by a company that cares. Nocta Simplex New Generation. For every budget.
It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's the big detecting show. Good evening, darling. How are you?
I'm all right, dear. You all right, David?
I'm all right. Tired, but I'm all right.
Good evening, everyone. We've got lots of people in the chat tonight.
Have we already?
Philip Wills, Coil Sisters. Don't know.
Coil Sisters.
Don't know which one that is. Oh, sorry, the Soil Sisters.
The Coil Sisters are a totally different thing, and it's something that's on Pornhub, I think.
There should be that. Hi, Stephen Brain.
I think it's actually Samantha because they're being pleasant. Good evening, all with a smiley face. That's Samantha. She's pleasant.
Eagle-eyed DJ. He went into hospital last week, and do you remember I said he was going to leave me his machines in his will, but he obviously came out. I had to pick him up from the hospital. That was quite funny. Yes. Love the left stage right look. Well, we're in the same studio, so yeah. Look, I can put my hand. Tickle. Is that tickle? Is that tickle?
Whoa, don't touch that. Go on now, Flower. Where were you up to then, anyway?
We was just saying hello to everyone.
Oh, Graham Dempsey didn't expect Graham Dempsey to
yes.
to be here. He's in Riga in Latvia.
Yes, a lot of people go to Turkey to get it done, but obviously Graham's found someone in Latvia.
No. That's the teeth and the hair in Turkey, not what you're thinking.
Oh, right, okay.
That's what we thought James was going in for, but obviously not. Scotty B's here, Derek Gibbon, Stephen Brame, Gavin Kerridge, Anthony Mims, Francis Wright, Dave Evans, Carl Swed. I like David Evans. You know why I like Dave Evans? Because on Sunday, he brought me a big Victoria sponge. Oh. And Graham Dempsey brought donuts. And then somebody else I'll get to in a moment. Carl Swain, Peter Kelly, Charlie Dreamer, Matthew J. Kent. Charlie, I'm going to call you Dreamer. I'm sorry. It's just automatic and forever now, sadly. Carl Ellis, Ava Afisa. She brought me a lovely cupcake. Very nice. And it was the end of the day when I was getting really peckish and it was still cold and it was still moist. We like moist. Paul Tongue, right. Philip Wills, Rob Lewis, and Metal Detecting War Relics. Good evening, young man. I hope you're well. And Stephen Gray, Martin Homan. I'm missing people. Did we find much? You'll see more later. We have a little video that I've just put together literally minutes before the show, so it's not very good, but it'll show you everything. And tonight's guests were also on site as well, so hopefully they will be able to give you a bit of feedback themselves, Adrian.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Sorry, for those of you who don't know, Staffordshire Searchers, our little group, we put on a dig on Sunday in North Staffordshire, where we raised quite a significant figure. In the end, we thought it was £330 for CRY, the cardiac risk in the young, but we ended up making £690 because the landowner gave us the money back and asked us to send it to a hospice in Nottingham. So we raised £690. So thank you, everybody who attended and bought raffle tickets and such like. We really do appreciate that. So there you go.
Very, very good.
Have you had a nice week?
No, not really. My ribs are just getting better. I'll probably go detecting. Might do this weekend, but ground's still rock hard, even though we've had loads of rain. Although I'm getting some all-terrain tyres on my little Jeep at the weekend, so I'm a bit excited about that.
Well, you're going to have to let me know the cost of them because I want some all-terrain tyres also.
I can talk to you all night about those because I
don't want to, Adrian. I just want you to tell me how much later. Don't want to know anything else.
No, I got all my machines out at the weekend and cleaned them up. And do you know what? I got hold of the Root Salt 71, bless it. I haven't used it for a long time, and I think I might take that out again. Do miss it. You know when you know a machine, and I know it's a bit clunky compared to all your DS2s and Noxes now, but I did like it. I tell you, I did try as well.
Is the new one available now?
The Versa. Hopefully next week. So I'm going to be getting one. Very excited. Looking forward to that. It's going to be an interesting machine. We'll see. But it's very lightweight, compact, and finally got rechargeable batteries. So, yes, looking forward to it.
Talking of light and compact, Shane won the Minelab X Terra Pro.
Mm-hmm.
How compact does that get? Well compact.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of things on there I think they should have done on the Knox.
They've got the control box, the arm that control box sits on. You unhook it at the back, it goes up and down, so you can find the perfect position for you.
And it's got a square shaft, not a round one, so the coil doesn't spin around. Shaft, and there's lots of nice little tweaks on there. I don't quite know how they've done it for the price, but might be to compete with some other people. I did hear this week that the new multi-frequency Quest might not be coming out. The Q60 and the V60 and V80.
Do you know what
Because of
they should
patents
call
and legal issues.
all of the Quests, the whole range? You know what they should call them?
Metal detectors?
No, a tribe.
Probably not politically correct. It might go down a bit wrong.
A tribe called Quest. It was a band.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Come on, Adrian.
Yes. I'll tell you what, before our guest comes on, I tried something this weekend for Treasure Hunting magazine.
RT Seal. RT Seal.
Paraloid B72 mixture to put on your finds. Very interesting. I'm writing an article for the magazine on it. But if you go to rtseal.co.uk, you can have a look. But this stuff is very interesting, and it comes off. It comes off if you want to get it off. But I won't go into too much detail. But if you're looking at something to do this weekend and you can't get out detecting, give RT Seal a little look. They're on Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, interesting stuff.
Other products are available, which I was going to get a wave in the screen then, but they're in the.
You haven't got one? Oh, I've got one.
No, they're in my box. You'll have to wave it round for me. I've not unpacked my boxes yet. I've been that busy this week.
Well, that's a cleaning solution from Composite Cleaning Pencil, which I love. That's fantastic. If you like cleaning your silver coins, but not so they're blinking like they've just been hammered, pressed, that's really good. Keeps them original, and I don't know what it's got in it. And then you've got Composite Clean Pencil wax and lots of other ones out there. But yeah, the RT Seal's interesting, very interesting.
Without further ado,
yes,
let's bring tonight's guests onto the show.
Really?
Good evening, John, and good evening, Laura. How the devil are we?
We're very well, and yourself?
Fair to Middleton, thank you.
And how's Adrian?
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine, thank you, John and Laura.
You're back to fighting fitness yet?
Yeah, I still can't dig holes properly, but the ribs are getting a lot better. It's just at night when I lay down. So
I've just noticed something. We haven't had one technical hiccup tonight.
I did whilst you were playing the adverts.
Oh, okay.
Massive one, but I won't go into detail. Yeah, and we've mentioned Shaft in the first 10 minutes.
Yes, I noticed that. We've been quite early.
It's always a bonus.
Yeah, John, who's sitting there waiting for that. Oh, we have got a competition. Not a competition. No, we've got Adrian's wall later, Dave, haven't we? To
Yes,
guess
we
the
have.
artifact.
Yes, yeah.
Which Adrian doesn't actually tell me what it is anymore. Well, he doesn't tell me what it is ever.
Well, I no. So I'm not going to mention money again. It's just for fun.
It's not £10,000 competition.
No.
Can I make a slight comment? Adrian, how on earth do you keep up with all these new machines that are coming out virtually daily?
I don't. No. I think it's a good question, John. I don't get every new machine that comes out when it comes out, but eventually I do. But I keep off of social media. I talk to people who I know and trust, and obviously I talk directly with people. So I was on the phone to Dilek the other week talking about the new Nocta pinpointer and stuff. It's one of those things. The new Noxes coming out are better and very good. I've got the Manticore. I like that a lot, but it is constantly changing. But I'm still, like I said to Dave, I cleared out some of my machines at the weekend, and I've got my old Root Assault 71, which is 4 or 5 years old now, and I still love it. I still love the single it's multi-frequency manually, but I'm still single frequency lover. I don't know why. I think it's because there's so much complexity in multi-frequency and so many things that can affect it. I'm still, they're good. They're great machines, but you get where I'm coming from. It's a bit like everyone's driving automatics now, and I grew up driving a manual, but I like an automatic. That makes sense. But yeah, there's so many new machines, and I think there's going to be another one at Rodney Cook that's going to be there as well, and announced from another manufacturer, which is just crazy because if you're new to the hobby, you can get very bewildered, can't you, by a lot of marketing. So yeah.
The thing that strikes me is that we got sort of like a diversity now. We've got very, very expensive machines, and now a lot more cheaper machines. And one might argue that you're going to have a glut of these people now being able to afford to have a machine in the house, and then start looking to think, where can I use it? And that's where the problem arises.
There's lots of it's a common problem. At Christmas, I normally get people at work, friends, family, message me and say, "Oh, little Johnny or Sarah wants a metal detector, or Brian in his 20s wants to buy one," and you sort of say, "Yeah, well, I wouldn't go silly, £300 or £400 max, really, because you might not like it." And then you've got to ask for permission, and you've got to go with metal detecting, code of conduct, all that, and then I speak to him in sort of February. How'd you get on? Oh, we went on the beach. We never found anything. Have you been out since? No, well, we've got no permission. And this is the problem. It's that I think a lot of beginners don't realise, like Dave's dig at the weekend, they don't realise there are digs they can go on. There are clubs they can join, because a lot of people get stuck into Facebook and social media, follow it, but a lot of places don't have meetings in a pub nowadays, do they still? So
I get phone calls, usually late at night, from people who have been well inebriated, saying to me, my wife believes that no, not Dave, my wife believes that this is another story again. I've just come from the pub. My wife's given me a right rollicking about the fact that I don't do anything but sit in that chair and go down the pub. She wants me to get a hobby. Now it's 11 o'clock at night. So, Mr. Welsh, can you tell me all about the hobby, please? And I'm thinking, no, I bloody can't. So buy the 2 magazines, go onto the interweb, and there you'll find out all about it. But the important thing, when the sensible people ring me up, they want to know, are there any clubs that they can join? Now, the biggest problem we've got in the Midlands is we've got X number of clubs, but they've got a finite number of members, and that finite number of members doesn't want any more because various reasons. A, because the digs get swamped. Parking's a nightmare. The farmers don't like it when you block up, and even they're working Sunday, so they don't want to see lanes of full of cars. So therefore, we've got this situation whereby you've got a lot of people who are very keen to take the hobby up, but very little opportunity to do so. And that, I think, is going to present us with a problem in time to come. I do appreciate that there are rallies, but sometimes if you're living in Carlisle and the rally's down in somewhere like Somerset, it's an awful long way to travel. And I think £25 and £30 a throw, it ain't for everybody.
I think it will be like in the 70s when air rifles, every boy had an air rifle and everyone used to go out with their air rifle. And then after sort of 6 months a year, it got put up in the loft and it stayed there till sort of late 80s when they sold it or whatever. And I think, like you said, John, there's a lot of good value detectors out now. I mean, there are your cheap Chinese ones, which everyone should avoid. The super treasure monster that will go down 4 foot for $99. But, let's take, the Simplex, the new Mine Lab. I've got the name of it now. Crikey, was it Dave? The green one. I've forgot the name. Someone will say it. The new Mine Lab that Shane won.
The Xterra Pro.
Xterra Pro, that's it. And you've got the Quest Q30. You've got a lot of good value machines, good quality and value machines at a low end now. And I think some people sadly will put them in the loft and not bother using them, and it might put them off the hobby. But get on the beach is good. The beach is good, I think, as long as you don't get stuck.
John, Anthony Mims asks, "What's your phone number?"
I saw that.
Yes, we've got it. It's 0898.
And also, can I just point out that Laura's got no idea what the 70s were?
No.
Or
It
just
was
sticking in the eye.
You could smoke on buses and planes,
Wow.
and you could shoot your air rifle in a field without being swarmed by the police. Yeah.
Haven't you still got a machine from the 70s?
I still have my Arado 120, and I've got a mint condition Arado 130.
Oh wow!
And I've got a C-Scope 600 series.
Wow.
You have. You did you have any Garretts, John?
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was, but I was ever so disappointed because I did have, I'm sure, a C-Scope, and I heard that Garrett was a super machine. And my friends who I was going with at the time, they kept with the Arado, and I kept thinking to myself, why are they finding stuff and I'm not? Because the head was about, compared to theirs, like theirs, mine was about that big, and I thought, not very good. In the end, I didn't actually. I think I gave it away because I said, I've got to move on up. The thing was, I did end up with the Rado, and then I started finding stuff. The Rado for me was a cracking machine, heavy, and until you learn that deflection, either left or right, and it keeping dead still. I mean, they were great machines, especially on ploughed land.
Sad they disappeared.
I loved it. I still keep thinking one day I'm going to get it out, but of course now that I've got a Deus and a Nox, the Nox is it's a different machine entirely. It took me ages to get one because Laura had one long before me, a Nox, and she said to me, Dad, she said they're a great machine, and I used to use hers. But it's too heavy, and I hate that sound. But once you get used to it, once you get used to the weight, I don't think there's a machine to beat it. Although I'm not in the market to get another machine at the moment, but it is a great machine. I do like the Nox. I'm quite keen on it now.
Yeah, it is. It is a very, very good machine. When did you start using pinpointers, John? Out of interest.
Do you know something? Well, obviously when they first came out, I can't remember the date, but obviously when you were detecting with a machine, the first one, the one had a little light on it, and when you press the button in the middle, the light would come on, but the distance that the pinpointer would actually would be about 2 inches. It really was pretty basic, and half the time the batteries didn't work, and half the time the thing used to get lost in my pocket.
Oh, is that the square thing?
The square one, yeah.
Oh, wasn't Bullseye, was it? Oh,
yes, the Bullseye, yes.
Yeah, still make it whites, I think. I think it's whites, Bullseye. Looks like a kid's walkie-talkie, doesn't it?
That's right, yes. Pretty basic, but as I say, before then, we used to have to dig bigger holes, didn't we? So you could stick your head in and then move it around the sides. But yeah,
I went out a few months ago without a pinpointer. I quite enjoyed it, actually.
Really?
Mind you, I did have a machine that is very good at pinpointing, and I wasn't digging too deep, but I did quite sort of that whole. I don't know. It's almost as if like when you're a smoker and you go to get in your car and you think, "Have I got my cigarettes?" There's that extra thing you got to remember because I've got mine on a cord, so I don't leave it in the field, but I still worry in case it breaks or something because that's like 100, 200 quid potentially. I've lost a few, but yeah, I don't know. Going back to basics, it's sometimes nice to use that hand over the coil.
But there are pinpointers now that if you do drop it or lose it,
yes.
After a while, they make a sound, don't they?
Yeah, there's a lot, and there's the new. What one is it, Dave? I know the Nocta are doing it. I think when you put it back in the sheet, it will turn off. It will turn off. But yeah, I mean the Mind Lab one. The Deus one, they'll beep if you leave them on the ground, make a noise after 30 seconds or something, which can be a bit annoying. But anyway, we're not here to talk about pinpointers all night. Sorry, Dave.
That's okay.
Yeah, he's sitting there drawing one. We're here to talk about AMDS, aren't we? I think.
Amongst other things, yes, we are.
Yes.
Yes.
So, the AMDS, for those who don't know, can you get a brief introduction to the AMDS, John?
Sure, Association of Metal Detecting in Sport. It's essentially an organisation that was set up when the National Council decided that there was no need for regions anymore, and that took place during the pandemic. And we'd all agreed that because the pandemic was what it was, that we wouldn't hold any meetings, no face-to-face meetings. There's nothing to meet about. There's nothing to talk about, really. And until it was all over, we had a directive from the president at the time, no meetings, no need to get together, leave it as it is. And so we did. But then suddenly some people decided, well, particularly the Northwest region decided, no, we do need to have meetings, but we'll have meetings online. Well, the regions, as they were, and I'll recall them, Western region, Southern region, Midlands region, Anglian region, Northeastern region, they said, well, we've been told, we're not going to have any meetings. So they said, well, we're going to have a meeting. And they effectively took over the National Council. Well, with that being in place, we were then sort of, if you like, disenfranchised. No need for the regions anymore, no need for us. So, because we got, we disenfranchised, but we got no insurance. So we said, right, we've got to get us our insurance, what we're going to do. But of course, we got no money. The National Council had got all the money. We'd got nothing left. And in fact, at that point then, and I was the first, and I don't wish to be the first in this instance, I was the first to be expelled. No reason, except they did say that I'd slandered people, that I'd said nasty things about people, which people who know me will know that I have never, ever, ever done that. I would never do it. I would never do anything to harm the National Council. I never would. In fact, since I was one of the founding members of the National Council, and probably the oldest, longest person who was around at the time, I got no reason to. In fact, we'd fought for the National Council to be the voice of metal detecting since 1982. So therefore, I've got no reason to do this, but other people had a reason. And of course, they walked away with our fighting fund. And our fighting fund was what it was for, exactly. To fight for the hobby should it ever come under threat from archaeology or any other body. So that money was not open to us. And not only that, we had to find insurance. We haven't got any money, so we asked around, is anybody interested in sort of helping us out? And we had a benefactor, a guy called Jed Walker. Now, Jed Walker, everybody said, who's Jed Walker? Well, Jed Walker is a philanthropist, very keen detectorist, but keeps himself to himself. And he said to us, I'll help you out, but I'm not going to get involved. You're going to have to do it. So we set up a group called the Quartet, which was the Midlands Federation, the Western region, the Southern region, and the Yorkshire region. And we met regularly. We said, right, okay, guys, we've got a few bob here. We can set up insurance, but it's going to have to be fairly cheap because obviously we haven't got money to throw around. And we've got our insurance, and we kept it at £5 now. This is the second year, £5. People say to us, well, it can't be very good because it's only £5. No, it's very, very good because it insures you for £10 million, exactly the same as the other lot. And so therefore, the AMDS was set up, if you like, to continue all the good work that we've done since 1982. The work like fighting against night hawking, green waste, all the other things that we had to do at the time to make the hobby what it is today. And a lot of people felt at the time that we've been hard done by. Well, we had, but we set about doing what needed to be done in order to protect our membership rather than the body. The body didn't need defending anymore because we'd done all that work back in the 70s. with the introduction of the Treasure Act, talking to the archaeologists, talking to the CBA, talking to Mike Hayworth, who was the secretary of the CBA, and so on and so forth. We were members of the PAAG, PARG, that's the Port of Antiquities Advisory Group, long before it all ended. And so therefore, we didn't have to defend the hobby anymore because the hobby had been defended. But these people decided to take it on. Now, the thing we did for all those years was free, voluntary. Nobody took a penny. I was the chairman for 18 years. I was the president for 6 years. I was the honorary president for 2 years, and that's when they expelled me. Now you might think, oh, it's just water under the bridge. Yeah, it is water under the bridge, but I put an awful lot of time in, and also an awful lot of energy, along with a lot of other good people who fought the good fight when the fight needed to be done. I can remember back in 1979 when Coventry City Council banned metal detecting. Now, two clubs in the Coventry area, Coventry Heritage and also the Arley Club, got together and got up a petition. And before the petition got to about, 2,000 signatures, the council got word that we were very, very intent on getting the hobby protected. And they said, what is it you want? We said, well, we want the sort of opportunities that you're giving other people, horse riders, skateboarders. We want the opportunity to pursue our hobby. And they said, okay, what if we give you all the greenways and all the public parks that you can go on, not the football pitches or the cricket squares, but all those, and not only that, we'll limit it to 2 clubs, that those who come forward and are properly organised. We said yes. And that's the sort of thing we did. Now, with that in place, since then, our members can get a disc with all places that they want to go to that belong to the council. We did that for them. That was fighting for the hobby. Hinkley Borough Council and the same thing. We fought that. So those are the things we did in the past. Now, I'd like to think that the people who are around now, should there be a fight in the future, are up for it. But don't forget, we were doing it unpaid. We were doing it for the love of the hobby. I believe now, and because I don't know what's going on with the other lot, I believe now that several of them, lots of them, get paid. Now, I don't know what there is to be paid for. But, hey-ho. So the AMDS is a body of people that respect each other. We did ask that we if we could meet up with the previous organisation, and they agreed to mediation. If I'm going on a bit, please tell me. But they agreed to mediation, and we said absolutely, we're all up for mediation if you believe that mediation will help us get back together. And they organised with a solicitor in Market Harborough to hear both sides of the argument. And we put our case forward, and then the National Council backed out. We said, oh, that's disappointing. We asked the solicitor why. He said, I can't tell you because I'm a mediator. And we said, okay, fine, okay. Several months went by, and they asked for mediation again. And we said, yes, please, yes, please. And then they backed out again. Now, what I find surprising is that in a recent epistle that I have seen, and it's been on the web, the National Council now are saying that the East Anglia region never existed. The North Eastern region never existed. Well, how can an organisation like the East Anglia region never exist when the chairman, Clive Coleman, came from the Anglia region, and later on, Wendy Howard came from the Anglia region? So to say that all those things never existed, it's a bit like North Korea. If I tell you it's not true, then it ain't true. And it's really it's baffling.
You'll notice that I'm smirking a lot tonight. It's because I've bit my tongue for a number of years now, haven't I, John? Because of my background knowledge of everything that's been going on within the hobby and with certain organisations. And I would like to come clean. So everything I'm chuckling about, I knew already, and it's nice to actually have John say it out loud for me. There's a lot more to it, John, isn't there? A hell of a lot more to it, which we won't speak about, probably. But it's probably worse than John's making out, and has been. In fact, I actually put a grievance in against an individual and was told that it didn't fall under the remit of the Constitution, which it thoroughly did, didn't it, John?
Yeah, it did. In fact,
plus other things.
In fact, the Constitution, which we were indebted to a Queen's Council who drew it up for us, the Constitution has been thrown out now, and it's been
the Constitution has been written to help certain people in certain ways, I would suspect. Anyway, we'll move on from that, shall we, John?
Yeah, sure.
We'll end up in litigation ourselves. So, the AMDS, obviously, you got your regions, you do your insurance, much similar to the NCMD. You're also on PARG, back on PARG now. You've been accepted.
Can I just say there, David, we had to make our case, which we did, to gain entry to the PARG, and we sat down, and because it's old hat to us, and because we got all the background, all the knowledge, we sat down, we made a case. I presented it along with two other colleagues. We talked about landscape recording, which we'll come on to later, and also how we can then move the hobby forward in terms of electronically and digitally in the future. We made the case, and believe it or not, it got nearly got 100% support from the existing PARG members, except for a particular group who didn't want us there. But it got carried. Now we're active members of PARG. And to be honest with you, we are now by the way, we were the first club organisation to adopt the code of practice rather than the code of conduct. The code of practice now is what is now universally accepted throughout the hobby as being the way forward. So all these things that we've done them with the hobby in mind, and also to protect our members in terms of what we can expect going forward. Now, we've got a bunch of people who, because of their knowledge of what went before, they now are saying to themselves, okay, what's the next step forward? It is about landscape recording, and I'll come on to that in a bit. It is about moving forward, and it is about actually consolidating, making the hobby more respectable, if that's possible, in terms of to the uninitiated people of this country who believe that all we are money-grabbing searchers. We're more than that. There's a lot of people in this hobby who I know both professionally and through the hobby have a great passion for the history of this country. But Laura is passionate about the history of this country. And it's great to meet those people. It's great to know that we're not accepted. I mean, I've never ever sold anything. I've never found anything really that good. I've never sold anything. But I do know people who do. A very good friend of mine, everything he finds that is not sort of going to be examined and valued, he sells everything. That's what he's in the hobby for, and that's great. That's fine. That's his thing. But we need to protect everybody in this hobby, and unfortunately, the hobby needs to protect itself. One of the important things that we've got to do now, and I'm heavily involved in this at the moment, is I'm a member of the Leicestershire Heritage Watch, and I go to meetings now with Heritage Police, and I involve one of the chairmen one of the secretaries from the Leicester Club, because obviously my area covers Leicestershire, it covers Northamptonshire, it covers part of Oxfordshire, down far as London, out to Peterborough, all that way, right the way up to Nottingham and beyond. And these people now need to understand that we can help out. And one of the things that we're tasked to do, because of where I live, and because I now have a data sheet of a lot of regular people, people like Regtons will come onto me and say, John, we've got somebody here who's lost something. Can you help out? Well, rather than me jump in the car and try and find it, I'll look through my database, and if I find somebody with that postcode who lives near where that object's been lost, I will then contact them. I won't give their name out or their phone number out. I will contact them and say, this person would like to find their object for them, a ring, spectacles, keys, or whatever. Are you happy? And I'll put I'll match the two up. That database is sacrosanct. I will not give that information out willy-nilly. So therefore, I'm offering that to the police that if a crime has been committed and an object needs to be discovered, I will contact those people who have got the time and are willing to, will actually put themselves forward to help out with the police. Now, I'm doing it with the Leicestershire. I know that ARMD, which is the affiliated region of metal detecting, which is said is the 4 regions, they're now doing it. I know it's very, very heavily being done down in the southwest. I know this is creeping out throughout the country, but it's being led by the English Heritage. It's also being led by Inspector Mark Harrison. Sorry, not once Inspector Mark Harrison. Now he works for English Heritage, and it's all about showing a face of the detectorist that is more than just groveling around in the dirt trying to make themselves rich.
And there's a gentleman who did have technical issues and he was never able to get on the show.
Who's that? Sorry.
Former Inspector.
Oh, Mark Harrison.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, it was quite profound how we actually had somebody come on the show with a Kindle Fire and key perception all night. Yeah. He couldn't.
He's very, very good. When Arch, which is another organisation against heritage crime, was formed, I was the representative for the National Council on that. And also when I was the chairman of the National Council, he came and sat next to me and addressed the meeting and said we supported heritage, the Heritage Against Crime. In fact, I've sent you that my copy of Night Hawking, where when I was the president, we decried night hawkers, and I don't like using the word night hawkers, but people going equipped to steal, and the full force of the law should be brought down on them, whatever they're called.
John, a question for Laura, which is why I giggled, and she was giggling at it too because I saw her. Does your dad take batteries, and if so, which ones?
You're very knowledgeable. Like I'm not like I've heard this a lot of times, but you got he knows his stuff, which is why like it's very enjoyable to listen to him, because the stuff that we're doing now with the AMDS is all the stuff that we asked if we could do before and was always told no. So it's nice now to be able to make links with, and also West Mercia Police,
yes,
the councils, the clubs, the and all the communities, so that we can make the hobby better. And we are little, but as long as I'm around, we'll still be going.
we are small, but we're very lucky because we got the nucleus of the old organisation that's still all on board. You got the people like David Rees, and you got the people like Sid Allen, and you've got people like David Barwell. David Barwell was the chairman after I became the president. He became chairman of the National Council, and David Barwell now has come up with a system of the landscape recording, which we presented to the park meeting, which the park were very, very keen to fully understand. And David, I mean, David has been very active in the Norfolk region. When Americans come over, he hosts parties for them, but every one of them has to sign a declaration that everything they find goes to Norfolk Museum to be catalogued, recorded, and to be estimated as to whether or not to be kept. Those that aren't get sent back to America, to the Americans in America. They don't get to keep them unless they are actually declined, and then they get them. So people like that have been active for a long, long time. But of course, the hobbyist doesn't know about these sort of things. But Laura, for instance, I think the very second meeting she ever attended for the National Council, came up with an idea, and I think I spoke to you at the weekend, David, about it, and that was the fact that a way to get sites, and this is probably for those people who can't get sites, a way to get sites is contact your local little groups, your little villages, the ones that have like group club meetings or church meetings, and find out if there's any farmers in there, and say to a farmer, if you give me 3 fields, 1 for parking, 2 for detecting, I'll make you X amount of money on a Sunday. Well, why don't you then buy a defibrillator for your village?
Your dad's giving away the trade secrets here, isn't he, Laura?
No, but everybody in the room thought it was a great idea, and he got poo-pooed by the National Council.
Luke's actually watching this show tonight. Good evening, Luke darling. He says, I have to say, I have tremendous respect for Mr. Wells at the NCMD meetings attended by myself. Isn't he nice when he writes? I found John articulated himself well. Had sound ideas and arguments and was not afraid to go against the grain or call out anything he felt was wrong or could be done better. And I mirror them sentiments.
Thank you.
So
we're still ploughing on. We're still ploughing on.
I'm Derek Gibbons said he's always been in the NCMD. I think people just automatically go to the NCMD because, hey, it's easy. It's what we've always done. They don't look for... I'm FID as well, yeah. But don't look for an alternative. And the AMDS and FID are the alternative. There's a lot of people that know and have had issues with the NCMD and things that have gone on in the background that you know about, who now aren't members of the NCMD. So a couple of people have asked, and it's just reminded me, John, where does the sport come from within the AMDS name? Because it's confusing some people. I know why.
The idea was that by giving it sport, we hoped, because what we wanted to do was to try and simulate what we had when we were active members of the other organisation. And one of the things was, we were originally, the National Council was in the CCPR, the Central Council for Physical Recreation. Now, through that organisation, you could get insurance, you could get financial, for everything all to do with sports throughout the country, right? But the CCPR became defunct, and it then became known as SARA, Sports and Recreation Alliance. And we thought, because we were new and we got no money and we were starting off, we thought if we could get into SARA, then hopefully we could get a bit more money, get a bit more better organised. But SARA declined us and said that no, that you have to be a properly formulated organisation to begin with. A bit like Catch-22, you had to be formed before they would allow you to come in. And we weren't formed then; we were just looking for help. So that's the reason why the sports bit on the end. And also, some of our members thought that if we could attract an element of competitiveness, and some people were saying about, the other thing about the annual, the village fete, where you get a square of sand and you throw a few pennies in it and you get the kids to try and find them. And if they find them, they get to keep them. But do that, over, I might give the secrets away here, I don't know, over a 50-metre course where certain things are buried, and you've got to do it within a timescale, but you've also got to identify them as well. In other words, copper penny, silver hammered. And then,
I'd win that every year.
I
know that, John.
Without a doubt, Dave, without a doubt. You should probably get there the night before and see them bury them. So that's where the sport thing came from, but it really more or less sort of didn't really materialise because, as I say, we've got other things to do. And by the way, can I also a big hand in our early days, Harry Bain, the editor-researcher, the owner of Searcher magazine, has helped us tremendously. She's backed us. Don't forget, back in the day, I knew her mother, and before then I knew her father. And wonderful people who did a lot for the hobby back in the day, and Harry's continued to help us out. And I think Harry, I like Harry. And as I say, a lot of people don't realise, of course, that Harry is the finder's representative on the Treasure Valuation Committee. Now, people say to me, I didn't realise we had a representative. No, you probably didn't, because nobody's made it clear. But there she is. And although she can't sort of like pop up regularly and say, "Oh, this is what's happening. This is what's happening to that, and this is what's happening to this." That's not going to happen. But she's there, if you like. I think to see fair play. But she's been good to us, and a big shout out for Harry.
Fair play. Fair play. So, Laura, how old were you where you can remember the first time you actually picked up a metal detector and used it?
What was the? It's all right. I'm gonna have to have a confab here. What was the machine you had where you made the cover for it at work? The black one. Was it a Garrett? No, it wasn't a Garrett.
No.
It was a C-scope, wasn't it?
Yes, a C-scope. Yes, a C-scope.
That's what I remember, because it was really heavy and we couldn't make it any shorter. And an old fall over because I couldn't hold it. That one day.
So how old were you about then?
Oh, goodness me.
Were you 6?
Yeah, I think you started to come out with me when you were about 4. And the reason for that was because your mother wanted to get rid of you on a Sunday morning. But I mean, you came out with me and
Never got rid of it.
Because her older brother used to chase the cows away for me. They're always being inquisitive, aren't they? And you always think they're going to put their big hoof on your head while you're not looking, while you're digging the hole, and it's lying by the side. But he used to get a branch and then shake it at them and shoo them away. But I think you were about 4. But then you sort of came in and lost interest. But like the thing was, one of my sons always was very, very lucky for me. Whenever I took him with me on a Sunday morning, I'd always find hammered. But he not always came with me because he was too busy doing a paper round. But in my naivety, I would say to him, "Chris, if I give you a hand to do your paper round, will you come with me?" And he'd say, "Yeah, sure." Have you ever tried delivering the Sunday Times on a Sunday?
Cool.
It
Rugby
bloody
ball.
done. And
Rugby
of
ball.
course, you get back to the shop. We've done it. Now there's another load to go out now because we couldn't get them all in the bag. But I used to encourage him, and not used to bribe him, just encourage him to come out with me if I did half his paper round for him. But there's things you do, don't you? I tell you what, go and get that picture of your mum.
Yeah, she will kill you.
My wife will kill me for this.
John, we'll even put it on big screen for you.
Yeah, go on.
No,
John, does it sort of upset you a little where C-scope are at the moment?
it does, and I'll tell you for why. And there's a little story here, Adrian, and the reason I'll say it is because when there's a guy called Pat Love, who was a regular representative on behalf of the trades people when the National Council was up and running and I'd got no money. And he used to come along, and he was a lovely bloke, Pat Love, and he used to attend all the rallies as much as he could. And he was the sales representative for C-Scope. And he pulled me aside at one meeting, and he offered me a job working for C-Scope. And I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "We'll make it worth a while." Because obviously they wanted me to attend rallies and spread the word about C-Scope. And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, make me a formal offer and we'll see what happens." Anyway, they did. And they invited me down to the factory in Ashford in Kent. When I got down there, I was pretty impressed. But what I wasn't impressed by was the amount of when they were manufacturing the heads, unless they got the head perfectly aligned with the foam, the expanding foam, if they weren't perfect and then they weren't right on the oscilloscope, they'd scrap them. They have these great big tubs of heads that really not suitable. Obviously, they've refined it now better. But unfortunately, with C-Scope, they haven't kept pace with what's going on with the clever stuff. Like I believe that the NOx, that was a grant from the United States Defense Department, wasn't it, to come up with a machine that was all singing and dancing. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of other makers who are similar. A lot of other manufacturers have fallen into the trap like C-Scope have. They just don't seem to have. They made hay whilst it shone, but didn't think of planning ahead.
I believe they've got a PI coming out Washing machine.
Yeah, there's another manufacturer I think who's doing that as well at the same time. But the problem is because of European labour costs and stuff, it's going to be a lot cheaper and possibly more features. I think the Evo, when that came out, you know, what are you going to buy? A Knox 800 or an Evo? It was, and then it had loads of technical problems. But you know, they are massive in the detection of gas and water leaking for industrial businesses. Oh, look at that!
She's gonna kill
No.
you.
I used to drag my poor wife along to all these rallies that I used to attend, and me and the two boys would go off detecting, and she'd be sitting in the car doing the knitting or whatever. And I persuaded Treasure and T's photographer then to take this picture, and she's never forgiven me.
And we framed it.
I can't see. Is it 1985 or 1975?
1985.
85
Right.
with that top on and those moccasins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well spotted, Adrian. Eh? A man
Yeah.
of the picture. There you go.
I was there.
Yeah. She got no idea what she was holding. No idea at all.
Most women say that, John.
I know. I thought that was good. No, it was.
He led me right into that one, Laura, and it's nearly 9 o'clock.
But I dragged around all these rallies and it was good fun then. Back then it was there's none of the big money around at the moment. But of course, here in the Midlands, we've been raising money since 1982, and unfortunately, COVID was the thing that stopped it. And things haven't really picked up regarding charity rallies around here anymore, because they're all commercial rallies now, and unfortunately, the money's not going the way that it should do. And the big rallies, which obviously are for charity, also are good. God bless them, you know. But I do miss the old church fetes, the church rallies, and because you've got to meet various other people's exhibition. Because here in the Midlands, we've had an exhibition up until COVID was at St Mary's Guildhall, one of the oldest guildhalls in the country, right next to Coventry Cathedral, which everybody knows Coventry Cathedral. When it was a 2-day event, and we get 2,000 people come through the door. It was brilliant. We get all the clubs having all their displays, and we get asked questions, and the press would come. It was great. And as I say, unfortunately now St Mary's Guildhall has been taken over by a private firm. So unfortunately, you have to pay now to get in to see St Mary's Guildhall, whereas one time you could walk in. But that's by the by. I mean, I could write a book on the things that I've done and seen and happened, and the wonderful people I've met in this hobby. Since day one, I've been very, very lucky to be in the position to be able to influence various things in the hobby, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And I'm still enjoying it now. And AMDS is like a new challenge. We would like a lot more members. We would like a lot more solidity, but it'll come. We're young. I mean, we've been going now just over a year. We've got 8,000 members. So we're doing well. Certainly nothing like the other lot. But then again, we don't be like the other lot.
Adrian, have you got it lined up?
Yes. Sorry, dear. Explain it.
Hold on. I've got to find the thing first. Where's the thing?
What is that?
Where's that?
What
Is
is
that
that?
it?
What
No,
is
that's not it.
No.
This is Adrian's.
Here it is. Definitely a 70s British sitcom music, that, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I was a bit slow in getting it ready. Right, this week's one is for a lot of money. No, it's not. It's for nothing. This is something interesting, which not often people find. My mate James found one a few years ago. So we'll start with a number from Laura, please.
17.
You have to guess
You
what
sure?
it is. Guess what's behind the numbers.
Hey,
Oh.
there's no guess for that. I've used the Paz thing. John,
We need to pick one in the middle then.
I'll go for 27.
are you sure, John?
Go for one in the middle.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
It's a
Sorry, 19.
view order.
Ooh.
Someone in you, David?
Is it a heraldic mount?
No.
Okay. Number 12, please.
The fibula.
Nope. Good try, Laura. Someone in the chat, Dave?
Derek Sherwin says number 20.
Anyone guessing?
Is it something to do with the Isle of Man?
I think
No.
it's
Oh, it might be. No, it's not.
sideways on you.
The pyramid dagger pommel.
No.
A 20,
Go on there, Laura.
go to 22. I think there's a side and a front there going on.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Not much to give away there.
who else?
Go on, John.
13.
Is it a stirrup mount?
Yeah. Sort of. Another word for it. Well, yeah, it is.
I got something. You can't tell me I got something right.
Yeah, spur. Yeah.
Yeah,
well
it's a
done.
spur. Oh, there we go. It says here on the Portable Antiquities. I won't read it all out, but yes, very interesting. I quite like that because my mate James found one in the sea in Essex, about half a mile out, which obviously then it probably was land. But yes, so I will go back and see how many. Who got that? David. David, you got that, didn't you?
Did yeah?
I don't know how many you. I will put that on there, and then I'll.
Whoa,
count
whoa,
how
whoa,
many
whoa,
things.
whoa, David.
Yeah, I like calling you David because it's annoying. It's like when people call me Adrian.
Why is that, Adrian?
My dad, right, bless him, passed away not long ago. I think I've said this already, but I bought a new shed about 10 years ago, and my dad gave me like 50 quid towards it. I was so chuffed. And he went, I've got something for you. I went, oh, what, Dad? He'd made a plaque, wooden plaque that big, and it said, I was about 40 then. It said, Adrian's shed. He spelt my name wrong. I said, Dad, I've only been alive 40 years. And he spent weeks carving it all out of a bit of wood. I've still got it, actually. I'll put it up when I get a new shed because the old one's collapsed out. But
Well,
yeah.
listen, we're going to have a 5-minute interlude, so you can go and have a wee if you want. We've got the video to play from the weekend. So basically, Staffordshire Searchers, myself and Shane, Ron, Steve, Ben, Ricardo, Fods. We ran a dig in Staffordshire at the weekend, which John and Laura came along to visit us. We had a great weekend. There's a lot of people in the chat as well. Some great finds which are on there, and we'll have a 5-minute interlude. So there you go. I know the mics weren't still on Philip Wills. I didn't get to actually put this video together till about 20 to 8. So I rushed to, hence it being a little bit longer than normal because I didn't get to edit them into each other. But also I had to download music ASAP. And because we can't use the Detectorist theme because we get blacklisted and bombed out and the show doesn't get seen,
Really?
I decided to get some Detectorist, what was it called, Adrian? Intermediary music.
Yeah.
So
which
basically the music between cuts and what have you from the program, hence the background noise and the whatever else went on. So there you go.
Nice little fibula by Shane, but I didn't realise it was the size of a mouse's penis.
I messaged him straight away because Shane, Adrian's been after one. Adrian's been after one for ages. So I messaged him. Shane's just found first hole. First hole he went in the field behind us. He found the fibula. It's a child's fibula.
I'm not going to lie. Right, I've just moved house. The amount of
while we were doing the bit of intermediary bit there.
Yeah, that's why I was out of the camera.
Wow.
But I keep finding hammered coins and fibulas in all the boxes and everything. I am a messy person. They're all together now in a big box. But I was like, oh, it's a hammered coin.
I don't know what it is. I go on my permissions. There's a lot of Roman, a hell of a lot of Roman, and I've been very fortunate in the last few years with finds I've found. But I just want a fibula. And I went round Gary Cook's last year. And, like that kid at school who's always got the best trainers, best clothes. He was like, oh, I've got a few here. And it's like boxes. I think he makes them. I don't think Gary finds them.
Have you never found them, Adrian?
Back 4 years ago since I last found one. Yeah, I have found them, but 4 years ago. So gold nobles, gold rings, full gold status, found all that, found everything, all the lovely bucket listers, but not a fibula. Little bits of broken ones, but not. What are you doing?
I'm saying I haven't found any of them, and I've given you the B's.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got to thank Ricardo Lees for taking some of them pictures.
Good job.
Ron Steele took some, and obviously all the finders who sent those pictures onto the website, Facebook group. Sorry, the Staffordshire Searchers Facebook group. Thanks to everybody who attended and took part in the raffle and offered their support otherwise. And to Regdens, who sent a load of things up, they donated to the raffle as well. So we very much appreciate one and all for helping, participating and everything. And we may have one coming up in the next couple of weeks. Well, it won't be this week, and it won't probably be next week's bit too short notice.
Can I say thank you for actually having a pair of gloves that fit me? They actually fit me.
And sorting you out with a few more.
Because I have to buy children's gloves. So thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
They've not got unicorns on them now.
Whenever you need children's gloves again, come and see me.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Unicorn.
I go around stealing them off kids, that's all.
Hi, Nick Berry in the chat, Dave. Lovely.
Hello, Nick Berry. You were fantastic in Heartbeat. We did have another video to play from our club meeting on Monday night, but I'm going to leave that till next week. And did I send it you, Adrian? No, I didn't send it you. Ange and Derek Sherwin came to this. Well, we had a full turnout more or less at this month's Tempest meeting, and they brought the Monarch Designs Requiem box from the Detectorist Christmas special. So we got to have a good look at that and go and salivate over it.
That's amazing. That is the pot quite smooth? Because 3D
it is so smooth you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't know it was. You'd think it was actually made out of clay.
Yeah, Monarch Designs. We should get him on again soon because he's absolutely smashing it, and he's some cracking stuff he produces. I think he's got a new thing for the Deus 2 coil charging clamp.
He's got a nice what they called Roman fibula display things but you wouldn't need one of them, would you?
Do you know what? I'm going to do Gary Cook a t-shirt. I love forging fibulas. I think Derek, no, who was it? Derek Gibbon, yeah, he put that in the chat. I'm going to do him one and stick it on his back. He must have tons of them, surely.
Over stickers with Gary Cook's face on it. I love forging thingy and stick them everywhere at Rodney Cook on everyone's machine and that.
That might be why he has the rally, because he nicks them at the end. That's why he does it.
I'm with you.
But yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. Derek, magnetic charging clamp for the Deus 2. They are awesome. Oh, I might tap him up on that. It's the only downside on the Deus is charging the blinking thing. Deus 1 and Deus 2, that clip still not.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Numerous times you think it's on and then it isn't. And then you worry that it is. Do you know what I mean? But it's been 12 years, hasn't it?
Scotty B, obviously being a child, is an expert on child-sized gloves, Laura.
Leave Scotty B alone.
No, it'll never happen.
He
Ever.
wears mittens, though, Dave. He wears mittens, not gloves.
That's only because the waves won't let him wear anything else because she doesn't know what his fingers will be up to.
The string up his sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one. Scotty B still wears them.
Do you know what? They'd never dream of doing that now, would they? If you lost your gloves, just buy a new pair.
That's
Get them
right.
from Primark, £1. When I was young, gloves were like, they were expensive and you were lucky if you had a pair. Yeah,
I've just remembered something that I've just have to jump in on because it's only just come in my head and I'll forget otherwise. When we were at T-Bay 2 weeks ago on the Ministry Detect dig, and when we had this weekend, there was numerous people asking if we had any emergency sleeping bags. And lo, yes, I've got a load of now emergency bivvies.
Oh, right.
So for those at weekenders who forgot the sleeping bag, come and see y'all. Sorry, I had to butt in because it just came into my head.
Dave's emergency sleeping bags.com.
I can't tell you what else is in the sleeping bags, but .com.
Very strange. Very strange.
We're past the watershed now, so.
You can tell.
Say what we want now, John. Proper lowering the tone. That's why Laura's come on, just to lower the tone tonight.
Laura, you came on a few weeks ago. You were on the beach with your dad.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about what you were tested on the beach? Yeah.
No, because it's not been. God, I hope they're not watching. It's not been sent through yet. I got back to work and it will be done though. My other one is out though. I think I sent it to you, Dave. But I don't like.
No, you sent it to Shane.
I sent it to Shane.
Yeah, I'm just a poor loser.
Oh.
So where can people read
She
about it?
She thinks it was funny. Go ahead, Mrs. Wells.
No, I've done that one. But basically, I was given how many? Six different countries.
Six. It's 4 stainless steel and 2. One plastic, 1 metal, 1 black metal, and 2. Sorry, was it 2? No, 3.
No, 1 plastic, 2 black ones, which are a make, if you know, and then 2 stainless steel sand scoops.
I bet they're cold. Oh, we're on about sand scoops. Sorry.
Well, was one of them from America?
I think both of them were from America.
Yeah, the plastic one. I don't like the plastic. I can't talk about the plastic one. I don't like the plastic one.
The holy one. The holy one.
Yeah,
was that from America?
Yeah.
I know that's very good.
It was good. It's just what I've done is I've put like an honest review for them of all like the pros and cons, because the ones that you found easier for me, because I'm not as strong, they were harder to use. So it's like it is an honest review of the pros and cons. Because
I'll tell you one thing that I thought, that the machine the tool that Laura gave me to trial to see how it would fit. Because I've got my own in the shed, I've always wanted a handle, so that when you're holding it, you're sort of the handle's halfway down the shaft. Yeah. Once again, I thought I'd join in, lads.
So you like getting your hand around the shaft, John? You like
that's
nice,
right.
Good,
you get a much better Finish.
I'm going. Wow.
But the thing was, I think without that, if they all incorporated that, and I think on the day I bought it from the shop that we've got the loan from, didn't
Yeah.
it cost me 17 quid. Without that, when you push the scoop into the sand, you pick up an awful amount of sand, and it's very heavy, right? And there you look. You've got two things. You can either throw it to one side and then detect over the top, or you can pick it up, shake it like crazy to see what's in it. But if it's that very, very black shingle, then the thing was, by being able to get down near the head and pick it up it was so much easier. So I think they ought to be made standard with this handle on as well. And just a suggestion, because I'd found that if you're doing it for any length of time, for say an hour or so, it's going to be very, very heavy, especially if you're finding stuff and you're going for it, big time in the surf, which we were big time.
So Adrian, I've deflected that, but yes, it's coming. You can have it. It's coming. I've moved house and all sorts, so it's coming.
And the one you've written at the moment, you've written another article?
Well,
am I right?
Yeah, I can share it on your page if I'm allowed. I don't like sharing stuff on people's pages unless you're okay with it.
You can put whatever you want on our page as long as it's not bombarded with self-promotion or YouTube
John
links.
Shaft. Yeah.
And John Shaft.
Is it on the web?
Yeah, it's on Crawford's. It's part of their blogs. So I think there's the Soil Sisters have been on there.
Not heard of them.
Never heard of them.
No.
Don't know one. Sounds like a pair of drunks to me.
Yeah.
And some people from the Mine Lab as well have done a couple of about themselves.
I've got to say, very, very well written in praise of women in detecting and the need for more women in detecting. I think it's very, very, very well written, and I had no part in it.
You were spell checked.
I spell checked it.
That's what happens when people work at the council. They can't spell.
No, let's not go there. Let's not go there. Although the counselling commentary are very, very good.
Yes, counselling commentary are excellent.
Excellent. Yeah.
Dave, don't get me fired.
Aren't they, Laura? Yes. No, they're good. They're good.
Hold on. Scotty B's asked a question, but I don't understand what he means. What do you mean, any CI, Scotty? Oh, right. Questions, John and Laura. If you become a member of the AMDS, do you receive any kind of membership card, etc.?
Yes, you do. You receive a laminated card, specifically your name on it, and it's part of the membership. It describes on the back all the essentials and your name and the rest of it. Yes, it's all there. It's all there. In fact, the card coming out for next year will also include the QR code as well. Yeah. If you want to know more about AMDS, I can just advert here. It's amds.org.uk. If you want to know about everything that's gone on in the National Council and the AMDS, it's amds.org.uk/facts.
Marvellous.
I'm just sharing that blog. So it'll be
don't ask me, because I try not to speak about it, because I try to behave, because I get told off otherwise.
Scotty B's just said, okay, just used wife's PayPal and never get asked any details. Well, that will end up right. Yeah.
So sorry.
So he's paid. Scotty B has used his wife's PayPal, I presume, to buy membership.
Yeah.
And it didn't ask for any details.
Well, no, it would ask for his name and address, and it also ask for his email address. His email address is important. We try to tell all the membership this, because we bring out AMDS Times. I think we're into our 4th edition now. If you haven't got an email address, we can't afford to send it out with the first second class stamp. So therefore, we do it as a digital edition. And if you don't give us your email address, unfortunately, you can't receive it, because we've got somewhere to send it to. But I think you've seen it, haven't you, Dave, AMDS Times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have. I think Scotty's actually gone to .com, and he's been looking at All Mothers Damn Sexy or something like that. I think he's paid for some sort of membership on there using Katrina's PayPal. I don't think that's going to end very well for some reason.
That's fraud.
Well, not just that. When she sees it on PayPal, what it's been paid to, All Mothers Doing Sexy or whatever it's called, then it's could be in a bit of mither there.
Yeah, I think he's just agreed that he's just put ha ha ha. Yeah, so
Yeah,
he's genuinely been on the wrong website.
Absolutely.
This is interesting question from Stephen Gray. Very interesting. Have AMDS had to pay out an insurance claim? Did the NCMD, you probably might not be able to speak for them, have to? Just wondering on the ratio of paid members to actual claims. Yeah, it's a good question, Steve.
Be careful.
Well,
and you can't talk for the NCMD.
No, I don't think you can talk about.
Well, I can't talk for the MCMD when I was running it. We did have a few claims, but they were all settled, without involving the insurance companies, because they were all petty really, and you can more or less pay them out of petty cash. There was never any big claims. And as regards AMDS, I don't think we've got any claims going through at the moment. Although that's the admin side of it, I wouldn't really know. I don't think there are any. If there are any, and I don't know about them. Put it that way.
What sort of example? Because obviously it doesn't cover your detector, does it, and your equipment?
No, well, actually, by its very nature, it's third-party public liability. So, in other words, you go on a farmer's land, you leave a gate open, prize ball goes out and gets hit by a bus. Then you can sue. Obviously, you can claim off our insurance. That's third-party liability. If you're leaving stuff, in your car and by the way, somebody mentioned in a past program about car stickers. Now, when this was first mooted to the National Council, I'm a member of the blah, 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 that is a passport to having the side windows stoved in, pull forward the squab and the cushion, right? And hopefully knowing there's a machine in the back. Not a good idea. When this was first mooted at the National Council, right, they wanted to spend £4,000, and I poo-pooed it. And because it went through on the nod, I thought it was a very, very, very poor decision. But luckily, we got the word out, and not many people, I think, did go down the route and put the car sticker in the window. Bad idea. We didn't always get the right ideas, but we soon put them right if they were the wrong ideas. Yeah,
just give me an idea for Monarch Designs, Dave. Detector clamp to put in your car to hold your machine down. Bit like a crook lock on the steering wheel. Because you think if you've got a Manticore, that's £2,000 sitting in your boot, isn't it? Or a Deus.
That's a good idea, Adrian. Yeah.
I would never leave my machine. My machine stays in one of the spare rooms. It's never outside.
Which one?
All of them. They're all on the wall.
All spare rooms. Oh, your machine.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like when I go out, I sometimes have 3, 4, 5 machines in my car.
Really?
And because I play with them and not play with them as in like hopscotch and skipping with the coil wire, but sometimes I do. But I probably on average 3 machines at minimum at any one time. Just depend, have a play and see what they're like. But I always am fortunate to park my car in the field. But sometimes I might park it on the road, and it's constantly. It's like when you're when your kids are young and you're at a fair or a circus, sound like the 70s. You're shopping and you constantly got your eye on them, worried about them. It's not a nice feeling. So it would be good if somebody invented some kind of locking system to lock it in the car. Thinking about it.
I bet there's somebody out there now thinking to themselves, I could design something like that.
Monarch Design.
Yeah, it was me, but mine was made out of gaffer tape, so I don't think it would work very well for some reason.
Yeah, but no, it's something which you're right, John, and I think machines are getting more and more expensive, and more people getting into the hobby. Sadly, you do hear occasionally of like ones that go missing, but there are ways and methods. Just make sure you got the serial number and you record it.
I think there are. I think there are house insurance policies that do cover a machine that's been left in a car and been stolen from a car. I think, but they'd have to. I think they have to be notified in advance on the policy itself.
Yes,
That's
additional.
like a piece of jewellery or something. Yeah.
And
Of course, the insurance companies would obviously make sure you pay for it as well in advance. But yeah, I mean, but no, ours is strictly a third party public liability insurance for £10 million.
Well, listen, both, as ever, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on the show. Just before the start of the show, John, I realised when I went onto my emails that you emailed me 4 days ago. I apologise for that because I never actually checked my emails. So, do I, Adrian?
Or post things.
So I apologise for not responding. Maybe text me.
Send him the facts.
Send the facts.
Just a quickie, David. I mean, you've seen AMDS times. I know you have. I devise a crossword every edition. People keep telling me it's too bloody hard.
It's too hard.
It's not too hard. If you Google all the clues, you'll get the answers. It's as simple as that. But
You're just giving it away, John. They're going to Google it. Don't bother doing one next month.
Do a word search now. Come on, instead.
Words that'd be too easy.
You could do a picture of an artifact like Hadrian's Wall, and they've got to guess what it is.
Ooh.
Oh no! Oh gosh! Full of
What
ideas
they
tonight.
got to do have a scratch card version where they scratch off the screen.
That'd cost a lot of money. You could do that. You could do that on Flip.
What about the printed version? How can he scratch it off there?
No, that costs a lot of money. That costs a lot of money. Yeah.
Well, as I say, thank you as ever, John and Laura. It's been a marvellous having you on the show. Just to remind everybody, and I'll have to jump on Facebook to do this because I forget and don't write things down because I'm always in a rush of late. On next week's show, why am I going into pictures? The Facebook, not pictures. On next week's show, we will be joined, first-time guest on the show, absolutely marvellous person, semi-local to me and Shane, called Jenna Goodwin. She has a Facebook page called The Red-Haired Stokey. So as well as doing metal detecting, she also does a lot of folklore and mythology. And we've spoke about it a lot, about the Essex witches and such like. And she dabbles in all that sort of traditional knowledge. So she'll be joining us next week. The following week, we have Mickey Richardson coming on the show, who will be discussing the rather marvellous, magnificent, large Roman hoard that he and some other chaps found 2 weeks ago down south somewhere. The following week, we've not got a guest lined up as yet. And the week after that, we will be live from Detecticon. And I will be not sat in a pub drinking alcohol and doing the show whatsoever.
You'll be in bed, won't you?
Yes, I'll be in bed.
What do you mean?
And apologies, I won't be here next week. So,
Is it next week?
yes, I'm going on holiday. So, sorry, I will try and.
No, I forgot. Because I organised a guest to come in. Doesn't matter.
I'll try and log in, but it's what is it? £38 a day for internet where I'm going. So I don't. I'll try and use a bit up. So but I'll try and watch it, David. You forgot.
So I'll be looking for a beautiful co-host for next week.
Sorry,
Forgot about that. Totally forgot about that. You have told me, so I do apologise.
That's all right.
Right. Anyway, thank you, John and Laura, again. It's www.amds.org.uk. Am I right?
Yep.
And I'm sure there's plenty available on Facebook if people search for it as well.
There is. The AMDS has got quite a thing going with the Facebook. I'll leave that to Laura.
And Laura, before I say goodbye to you properly, you have an Instagram and TikToky thing.
I do. So my Instagram's metal_detecting_Laura. And the TikTok's the same. So I'll make it easy.
No, I didn't know that.
Right, we will see you all next week. Adrian won't, because he'll be on other Fair Isles, or maybe not on Fair Isles, maybe on water. We just don't know. So have a great week, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thank you again to Regdens and everybody who assisted with the dig at the weekend. And we will see you all next week with Jenna Goodwin. Good night, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.